Hello and welcome to Nerd Subculture. I'm your host Jared.
And I'm Edwina.
And today we are still doing our Once More with Feeling series on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Today we are doing Season 4, Episode 7, The Initiative. This episode first aired November 16th, 1999, written by Doug Petrie and directed by James A. Contenar. Over to you, Eddie.
This is a full spoiler podcast. I'm a huge fan, but Jared has never watched the series all the way through, and I'm trying to convince him that it's worth his time.
After 60 plus episodes, Eddie, you're still trying to convince me it's worth my time. I will say this episode was definitely worth my time.
Yeah?
So, yeah, I actually kind of like this episode. I thought it finally got to the point.
I don't know. I like those. I've already said I like those episodes where Buffy's learning to deal with life at college and adjusting to a new lifestyle.
Yeah, no, I don't have an issue with that. It's just boring.
I love those episodes.
So, no, I enjoyed this. I like the theme. We'll talk into that later, but I really do like what it did in this episode.
Yeah, so, we do finally get the arc of the season.
7 episodes in.
Yeah. Oh, no, but, it was sprinkled throughout.
Yeah, it was,
You had the sprinkling.
The foreshadowing and the little hints here and there, yeah.
Yeah. And, we finally get to the plot of the season with the initiative.
Yep.
A lot of people hate this overarching initiative stuff.
Oh, really? They don't like the initiative?
No.
No, I think you mentioned this before, but they not a fan of it. It's just
yeah, but it's weird. I actually like it.
I like it. Well, so far I like it. I kind of think I know where this all's going to go, but I'm liking this. It's not a scene chewing, mustache twirling villain that they've sort of had in the past. Without the mustache, but it's I think I'm going to enjoy this season a bit more.
Okay.
Is this the favourite season? Is this the season, or is it already past that point?
Everyone sort of has debates about it. Most people think that season 2 and 3 are the best, and then there's just
we've already peaked, have we?
Well, I don't think so, because season 6 is my favourite, but then heaps of people hate season 6, and then then my second favourite is season 4, but then people hate season 4. So, no one can really definitively say what is the best season.
Yeah.
Most people are sort of on season 7 and 1 are the worst seasons. But again, I'm sort of like, I kind of like both of those. Probably season 1, a bit more campy. It's hard. It's a hard one.
Okay.
To get a definitive answer about. But getting back to the initiative, the episode, the initiative. So I also really like this episode.
Okay. Wow.
But it does have a few plot holes in this one, which I will go into.
Okay.
Mainly to do with Spike.
Yeah.
But it is one of those slightly forgettable episodes. Like, it's never going to be like in someone's top 10 favorite episodes.
Okay.
But it's not a bad episode. It's not going to be on the worst.
So
episode.
Pretty mediocre.
Well, it's in the middle. But then again, but a high end of the middle.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. There are certain parts of this episode that just make it really good.
All right. Yeah.
And I think that it's Spike. Spike just makes this episode good.
Yeah. Done it his way.
Yeah. Did you want to go into the summary and then we'll get on to my
I can do that.
Talking points?
Yeah. All right, get this crap out the way. Riley and a couple of his friends watch Buffy as she manages to make a mess of the soda machine and yogurt machine. They comment on what a cat she is and how interested they all are, but Riley is reluctant to make fun. Giles and Xander discover the commando guys are human and that their help would not be needed again. When Buffy decides to go to a party with Willow to hopefully cheer her up, Giles and Xander decide to patrol for her. Spike, having been knocked out by a taser at the beginning of the previous episode, wakes up in a facility where various types of demons are held captive behind electrically charged barriers. packet of blood drops from the ceiling into Spike's cell, but before he drinks it, a vampire in the cell next to him, Tom, captured in The Freshman, warns him that the doctors starve the vampires and then feed them drugged blood before doing experiments on them. In class, Willow asks about Oz, but Riley and Professor Walsh inform her that he dropped out of class and will not likely come back, saddening her. Buffy approaches the professor and tells her off for her harsh behaviour, prompting Walsh to comment to Riley that she likes her. Forrest asks Parker about Buffy, and when Parker vulgarly brags about having sex with her, Riley punches him, realising that he likes Buffy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yay, Riley. I won't say that too often, but yes, yay, Riley.
He visits Willow and asks her advice on wooing Buffy. Willow, still emotionally distressed, questions his motives, but eventually relents, listing some of Buffy's likes and interests. Spike lies on the floor of his cell, pretending to have drunken the drugged blood, and when the doctors come in to get him, he attacks. He escapes the initiative and returns to Harmony's lair to visit her, then immediately leaves to kill the Slayer. Xander later discovers Harmony crying, burning some of Spike's things. After a brief, inept slap fight, Harmony tells Xander that Spike is back. At the party, Willow tries to help Riley flirt with Buffy, but his attempts are thwarted when Xander arrives to inform Buffy that Spike has returned. Riley is also called away from the party and, after passing through several electronic checkpoints, go down in a hidden elevator to the underground facility where Spike had been held. The operations head, Walsh, informs him that Spike has escaped, and Riley gives orders to 3 teams that he sends out all over Sunnydale to find Spike. When Riley's team spots Buffy sitting on a bench, Riley refuses to allow them to use her as bait. Each unaware of the other's secret identity, Riley and Buffy try to send each other out of harm's way. Meanwhile, Spike has found Buffy's dorm through the school computer system. Willow, moping in her room, hears a knock at the door and invites the person in without thinking. Spike swaggers through the door and attempts to bite Willow, but is stopped by an intense pain in his head. After a short, calm dialogue with multiple metaphorical references to impotence, Willow hits him with the lamp and runs out just as Riley and friends cut the power and they work their way up to the dorm room. They capture Spike while the others consider whether to take Willow or not. Spike breaks free. Buffy arrives and fights Riley and his friends while Spike manages to escape through a window. Unable to make out the identity of their attacker, Riley orders them to retreat. Walsh is not happy with what happened or Riley's report on the event. It is revealed that Spike cannot harm a human without feeling pain in his head thanks to an implant placed there. Riley catches up with Buffy and they talk. Buffy tells him he is a little peculiar, a term used by Riley before he realised he liked Buffy, and he responds that he can live with that. The end.
Alright. So,
Right.
the first thing I'd
The initiative, Eddie.
Well, first thing I'd like to talk about are the plot holes in this episode.
I didn't notice any, so I'm interesting to hear this.
All right. So the blood packet, the empty blood packet. Where is the blood? Because he didn't drink it. There's no drain.
Mm-hmm.
How has he hidden the blood?
Did they need to drug him? No, because it looks like they already had and done the operation. So.
Well, they're doing multiple experiments on him.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
It's in his boot.
Maybe. I don't know. They never really show that.
Did the old Great Escape hit it in his boot?
Up the leg.
Up the leg, yeah.
Down the leg. Maybe. Might have been visible. And the other plot hole is that he hits and punches and hurts quite a lot of people getting out of the initiative.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't get the sharp pain until he attacks Willow. And it has been noted that this is, like Joss Whedon has even admitted it, it's a plot hole. He was angry with what ended up happening and the way that it was cut. Like he wasn't supposed to fight them the way that he ended up fighting them.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I like to think, well, this is just my theory in my head.
All right, let's
the
hear
way
it.
that
Yes, yeah.
I let this slide is that the chip didn't activate until he went to bite Willow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That solves that problem.
So it wasn't active until he tried to harm, actually kill Willow, because he wasn't really trying to kill these other people. It was just a means of escape.
So I wasn't sure of how this thing works. So it's when he goes to harm a human that the chip works. Now, I have seen episodes with this chip before. It doesn't usually make some sort of buzzing noise or something, or is that something they add in later?
I don't know. I don't think it really makes some. Maybe it does make a buzzing noise. I don't really.
I could have sworn there was like a weird buzzing noise, and
it's normally him just going ah.
Is it?
Yeah.
And they make it look like a shocking noise or something. I have seen an episode where he's walking with Xander or something, and Xander says something to him. And then Spoke's like, oh, this will be worth it. And he just punches Xander, and then he gets shocked.
Yeah.
He's like, still worth it or something like that. I don't know if it was Xander or not, but there's a scene where he does that. And I could have sworn it was like a bzzz sort of noise that happens. Maybe not. Okay.
Maybe not.
Something that's maybe seen a long time ago, which I always refer to as the V chip.
The V chip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Remember the V chip in South Park, the movie?
Yeah.
They put the V chip in Cartman's every time he swore he got zapped.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Now Riley as the love interest for Buffy.
You're fucking white bread.
Now this also never comes up, but he's a TA, like a teaching aide. So teaching? I don't know, like. Aren't teaching aides in a position of power? Like, should Buffy be allowed to date him?
I mean, it's not high school, so it's not like... Yeah, that'd be creepy. And she's over 18.
Okay.
And he's only like 20-something.
Yeah, like, that's not really the point. It's the fact that she could sleep with him to get better grades, that type of...
Maybe. It could compromise the integrity of the school, I guess. But, I mean... It's always a big taboo these days to be in a relationship with someone in your workplace because someone's always going to be in a position with power. But so many relationships have started with people who work together, and there's always going to be a power dynamic of someone being above someone else. So, the world hasn't quite ended yet with that. And I'm sure plenty of babies and people are still here because people had a office romance. And that's probably something that's never going to stop.
Yeah.
But there's always the cliche of the boss dating the secretary, which is always seen as, can't do that.
Yeah.
But what if the secretary was male?
But, having Riley as the love interest, had you seen this episode?
No, I haven't, no.
Okay. But it wouldn't have been a surprise that...
No, I know the character, and I do know they hook up.
Yeah, but you know that he was part of the initiative. So,
yeah.
So Buffy doesn't know he's a part of the initiative yet.
And I think even after it, he's still around, isn't he? For a bit, yeah.
And did you guess that he was with the commando guy?
Not specifically him, no.
And that Professor Walsh would become the...
I thought maybe something with her. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I was shocked that she was a leader. I thought she was maybe part of it, but not the leader. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I was definitely shocked about that.
All right. Because that's also another thing. Like, you don't see Forrest and Graham up until this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've only ever shown those the three army guys.
Yeah.
They're always sort of in this group of three.
Yeah.
And that's who it is. It's Graham, Forrest, and Riley.
So, Graham, is that the stoic guy?
Yeah.
The full military guy. The zero emotion robot guy.
Yeah.
There's always that guy, isn't there? Part of the group.
Yeah. Forrest will become increasingly more annoying.
Is he the wisecracking one?
The
sassy best friend?
No, he's not the sassy best friend. So he spends this episode trying to get Riley and Buffy together, and then he'll spend every other episode trying to break them up.
Terrible wingman.
It is that thing, like, it gets to the point where his irrational hatred of Buffy feels like there's, it's getting Faith vibes. that he's actually perhaps in love with Riley.
Yeah, I asked you straight away, is he gay?
Actually, you did full on go.
Oh, my.
Yeah, he was being a little too crass. I think that was the problem. Also,
that was?
Yeah. Like he's just, using the word nubile. Who uses the word nubile?
I don't know.
But Riley also uses the word court.
Oh, very old-fashioned.
Yes, that he wants to court Buffy.
Yeah.
Don't hear too many guys using that term.
Yeah, like a group court.
But even in the, what was that, late 90s, there's no way a guy would say, I wish to court you.
Wear a petticoat. Here's a place that sells them.
Yes. And that's the other thing. Professor Walsh and him having that conversation about the Oz and Veruca in the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think if they were part of this big secretive organisation, that would have perhaps been a private conversation that Buffy couldn't walk in on, because she probably would have been like, "That's not a dog." Like, so the people of Sunnydale generally, when they come across these demons or whatnot, they go into this state of denial.
Yeah.
And that's what she was kind of in this state of.
Sorry, I missed that. What are you talking about?
In the previous episode, Professor Walsh is attacked by the two dogs.
What conversation did she overhear?
Well, Buffy walks in on her telling, like, she's gone up to ask a question.
Oh, and they're talking about being attacked. Yeah.
And they're talking, and she's like, be careful at late at night on the campus. I was attacked by two dogs. And that's the typical Sunnydale resident being in that state of denial.
Yeah.
Where even when you see something funny, you pass it off as something else.
There's a bit of misdirection there.
Yeah.
I think,
And it just doesn't really work.
Considering they would absolutely know that was a werewolf.
Yeah, they would have known straight away that it was a werewolf. She probably would have sent out troops after it. It wouldn't have been something that they would have been discussing in the middle of the hallway.
Out of character, yeah. But the misdirection to make you think that they're just like another simpleton Sunnydale resident.
Yeah. And now the initiative itself, that building. So it's meant to be underground.
Mm-hmm.
There is far too much ceiling space. It looks like a massive warehouse.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the salt mine we went to in Poland?
Yeah, true.
That was huge.
But that was a mine. They were mining salt. So
yeah, I mean, and you're saying it's impossible to make a huge underground.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm never said it was impossible.
Yeah,
it's just very wasteful to perhaps be digging down that far and that large for no reason.
Okay,
wouldn't you try to utilize that space a little better?
Well, they had a big budget apparently, so they said, "Do what you want."
And what the hell is the point of the silver foil pit? There's no point in the silver foil.
It looks cool.
Okay, it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's that they can operate on the demons, and if the demons get out, they can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. All right.
Yeah, that answers that. All right. Moving on.
So you don't think it's too wasteful a space?
No, I don't know. It's, well, nice big open area,
Yeah, but what's the point?
Well, why not? Point? Sure, it increases the cost of heating and cooling in the facility, but, at least it gives a nice echoey sound when you walk in there and,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know, with flying monsters or something like that, maybe.
I don't know, but your ear pressure, man, it must be...
Yeah.
Be killing.
I'm sure it's pressurized.
Yeah.
So actually, the way they got into that place, it was in that house. What house were they in?
At their frat house.
Oh, so that was their frat house, was it?
Yeah. All right. I guess I lose that.
I wasn't trying to win anything, but I mean, you mentioned the V-chip one. I mean, yeah, that's definitely a plot hole. The open space.
I don't think it's a plot hole. I just think it's excessive.
Okay. Well, they're trying to show how big this
but it's unnecessary
initiative is. Are they government or private?
Yes.
Or
no, they're government.
They are government.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
they are government. You do find that out. all right, let's. Yeah, they again they didn't really know what to do with Giles and Xander in this episode.
It was a little meta because they didn't know what to do.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I guess we don't need for us in this episode. Let's go hang out. And
yeah, so they're just hanging out looking for the military guys.
And Giles outshowed him like he's trying to load the gun, and Giles just takes off and just cocks it.
Yeah,
he knows guns.
Of course he does. He was a ripper. Though they're not in it that much, you do get one of the greatest scenes of all time between Xander and Harmony. It is the greatest fight scene.
The slap fight.
They have this slow motion, dramatic music playing slap fight that I always forget about, and it's just the most amazing scene in the entire series.
They really do play it up, do they?
Oh, and the music is, this super dramatic music. They slow it down and they're just slapping each other, and then it ends with them they're pulling each other's hair.
Yeah, it was done pretty well. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. So, one of the great things about this episode is definitely that scene. And now we can talk about Willow. So this is kind of one of her mopey episodes. There's going to be a couple of Willow moping episodes as she's getting over Oz.
Yeah.
But in this one, she's consoling a lot of men.
Piffle.
Yeah, she is being the Freud of the episode, isn't she?
Yeah.
Bit of Freudian. Yeah, trying to
so
help
you have
everyone
her.
up.
So you have her consoling Riley,
Mm-hmm.
and helping him try to woo Buffy. And then you also have her weirdly consoling Spike. After that, we do need
performance issue.
Yeah, so you have that. So, vampires are generally a metaphor for sex. Like we've already talked about this before. And that scene with Spike and Willow in the dorm is, incredibly visceral. And it has that. I think it's the way that he climbs on top of her and he just kind of turns the music up, and it's very, it is very sexual assault.
Yeah.
Right in your face. I think it's the way he kind of throws her and puts his hand over her face, and it's just so violent.
Yeah, on top of her, and
but also sexual at the same time. And then cuts. And then it cuts back to and you honestly think that Willow is done in that scene.
Yeah. I thought. Well, I knew she wasn't, but it got me for a second. Like, is one of those situations where she dies, but they bring her back, or something like that? Like, I thought it was going to be a death, but reversible by the end of the episode or something. But a death, nonetheless. They'll find some amulet that they can change someone within the first 24 hours of being bitten or some shit like that.
Yeah. And then you have him sitting on the end of the bed going, and you get this weird, what do you call it? Erectile dysfunction conversation about impotence. And then you have her little insecurities coming out as well. Like, you didn't even want, it's me, you didn't even want to bite me. You came here looking for Buffy and you settled for me. I'm always the friend.
Yeah. Oh, piffle.
Yeah, and then she finally, she starts doing the old, what if you just have a break and then we try again in half an hour, and then she realizes what she's saying and then hits him over the head. But yeah, like it's this very weird juxtaposition of playing a very violent scene with a very comedic scene, and somehow it works.
It does. Yeah, it absolutely works. Yeah.
And suits both their personalities as well. But yeah, and the fact that you have her consoling Spike.
It reminded me of a scene in True Blood. You remember the first season of that was brilliant, and it was a season where the brother took all that V and he started ejaculating constantly. And he couldn't stop, and they took him to the doctor,
Okay.
and he's with the black girl. I can't remember her name. And Tara. And the doctor's like, "Oh, we're going to have to drain it, you know, and they have to get the big needle." And she was there comforting him, and it played off like he was giving birth.
Oh,
like he was sitting on the bed with his legs open like that, and she was holding his hand, and he was like breathing heavily while they like shoved the needle in his dick.
No, wasn't it just an erection that he had for like, he wasn't ejaculating. He had a severe erection.
Oh, yeah.
And it had just filled with blood. And
and they had to drain it.
Yeah,
he was going to lose his dick. And it reversed the situation where he was the one having a baby and she was the husband holding his hand while he was screaming in pain.
Okay.
Yeah, it reminded me of that scene, the juxtaposition switch.
Yeah.
You know, of that sort of, you know, being the actually it's kind of different but kind of similar, I guess. It was a role reversal in that one though, but it was also playing on the giving birth to having a penis drained of blood.
Yeah. I don't really have much more to say.
Some things I wanted to speak about.
Yeah.
So I think a signature sort of writing prompt from Joss Whedon or the Whedonverse, the corporation facility controlling monsters in it's almost a technological with mythical combination of the two.
Yeah.
Which remind me of like Cabin of the Woods.
Yeah.
So you had that same thing where you had all these mystic creatures being sort of shelved in locked up in cells and stuff like that to be used in certain ways. Even maybe you could say a little bit like Alien Resurrection did something similar as well.
Yeah, it did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose Firefly as well.
Aliens?
Yeah. They had the Blue Hands guy or something, or the Reapers, or what was it?
They were experimenting, and that's how the Reavers came about.
Yeah.
They were experimenting with pacifying people.
Yeah, so it's a little different, I guess.
But also they were experimenting on River to turn her to make her into a weapon.
Yeah,
psychic and
but definitely the whole sort of facility with the mythical creatures in it.
Yeah,
was very similar. I felt like a theme he's done before, and will possibly do again. I imagine, or maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Oh, kind of. I don't know. The Nevers kind of started playing with that, but he got kicked off his project.
Own show, yeah. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So it's a signature. What do you call it? Signature or a
reoccurring theme?
Yeah. So what do you call it? It's technological with mythical aspects, sort of combined into one facility, sort of thing, like the Merman, and never get to see the Merman.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to bring up. I think it was on a Buffy website. It mentioned a goof. Now, I don't usually like mentioning these. I don't think they find them that interesting, but I was just
because they're not really goofs. Yeah.
Well, sometimes I do. It was one of those ones where you see the camera crew in it, and I was like, oh, okay, let's see if you can see it. Or it wasn't a camera crew. You could see the top of the set and lights. That's what it said. It was the scene where Spike jumps on top of Willow. And when you see it from her point of view, it said that you could see the top of the set and you could see the lights of the set. And I don't know, I've replayed that scene several times, and I didn't see shit. I'm just amazed that sort of gets in there sometimes. And if it's there, it's like barely a frame or something. I looked at it pretty extensively and I could not see anything. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong scene or something. But
it might be the fact that you're not watching the, what do you call it, the ratio. The ratio of it's changed.
Well, I am watching the HD version, so that's the one where it's got all the issues where they've reframed it.
Yeah, but they cut up. The thing is, they cut down the top to get more at the sides, so it's probably cut that. Possibly,
yeah. So I think from this point on, he was filming in 16:9 though, so
that is also possible.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe. But yeah,
I could get out the DVDs and find out.
All right, let's put it out. All right, we'll be right back.
Down the rabbit rabbit hole. So, Jared, did you go down a rabbit hole this week?
Musical guest that was uncredited.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't go to the bronze.
No, but they went to a part-tie.
Yes.
And there was a song playing in the background. I'm like, oh, fuck, what is that song? I remember that song. And I couldn't remember who did it or who wrote it or anything.
Well, there's apps these days for that.
Yeah, it was hard to get because they were talking a lot in it. I was trying to do it. I maybe could have gone back and did it. But all I can remember was the line. Yeah, and the line was, you know, who rocked the party.
Yeah.
Which kept giving me the Missy Elliott song. I'm like, no, that's not it. Who rocked the party? Rock the party. Who rocked the party? I couldn't remember. Oh, who rocked the body? Who rocked the body? And that didn't work. And then I'm like, I just typed that into Google, and then I found it. So, remember this song?
Yeah.
You know who it is?
Maybe Prodigy?
Nah, it's Moby.
Moby.
Remember this guy?
Yes.
This guy's still making albums, by the way. He's made like 19 studio albums. He's not giving up. He's like in his like mid-50s. He looked like in his mid-50s then, to be honest. But
He always looked old.
yeah. I thought he was English because he looked like a soccer hooligan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just listen to a bit of Moby today. So.
Yeah, can't say I was much of a fan, to be honest.
No. I just remember a few songs, and there was that one and this one. Remember that one?
Nope.
No?
God, I must have been under a bridge or something.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
You remember it
This
now.
is now sounding a bit familiar.
No one can stop us now. 'Cause we are all made of stars. Yeah, still making music. Claimed that he dated Natalie Portman. She denies it.
Oh, poor guy.
Is that one of those high school things? We're going out, but don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
So 19 albums. Guy's still going. If you're a fan of Moby, you know, I thought that guy stopped making music 20 years ago, but no, he's still there. He's still what it's over. Nobody listens to techno.
Yeah.
Not really a rabbit hole, I guess, but my musical guest.
Yeah. All right. Should we get into question time?
I hope that answers a little bit your question.
Okay, Jared, which character was your favourite in this episode?
It's fine.
It's Spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Which character do you love to hate?
Yeah, Willow's kind of giving me the shits this episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you explain why?
Oh, no.
You explained why to me when we were watching it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I suddenly realised. And she reminds me of my son because she talks like a child. And that's why I don't like Willow. Because she's always talking like a little child all the time. Oh, shut up!
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Well, I'm going to go with, this will be the last time we see him, so I'll go with Parker Abrams.
Parker, yeah.
Yeah. Because he was that, like, for any Parker apologists out there, after what he says in this episode, you cannot like Buffy was quite right in her
It was actually
her so-called clinginess.
It was actually really funny to hear it from his point of view.
Bastard.
Hearing that she was super clingy, like
Yeah,
or betrothed or something.
Yeah, she's like all over me, man. I was like, God, like when you saw him like explain it to her, he's just being so patronizing in it.
Yeah.
And then when you see him talking about it later, like, oh God, you wanker,
Yeah.
She's like real betrothed, like God, and then Riley's just fucking.
But really,
smacks him it was like a reflex action, wasn't it? Like he didn't even
well,
think.
the whole thing is she only approaches him once. After they've had sex, and he pretty much was like, rejects her.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. The only other time, it's other than Willow calling bullshit on him.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, and then Buffy knocking him out twice.
Actually, can you make a video of him getting knocked out?
I might do that. That we can go. Cheers to Parker. He gets knocked out 3 times, and he deserves it every single time.
Yeah.
And I hope he has permanent brain damage from it.
Oh God. She's harsh.
You know the difference between a freshman girl and a toilet seat. The toilet seat doesn't follow you around after you use it.
Yes, just a little bit harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this is the last time we see him.
All
Farewell.
Right. Farewell, Parker.
Farewell, Parker Poophead.
Goodbye, farewell.
You
It's
will not
really
be
nice
missed.
to meet you.
The only thing we enjoyed was watching you get knocked out and punched out.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right. And moving on.
Mm-hmm.
What was the most memorable fight scene?
Yeah, it's funny. I'd written down the hallway scene because that was done quite well, but then you brought up the one, and that is definitely more memorable, the slap fight.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, which is what I have. It's the harmony.
Yeah, I knew you were going to have that. And
Yeah.
so you say memorable, but then I just remembered it. When you mentioned it,
like it's just perfect with the fact that it goes to slow-mo and the music. It's just played so dead serious, yet they are slapping each other and pulling each other's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder would have been creaming his jocks in that one.
Exactly. No, that's where he got all his inspiration from. That fight scene.
You just need that sort of operatic music in the background.
Well, the music is pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty dynamic. Yeah.
I've got that scene as mine, and the LOL moment.
I got one word: impotence.
Oh, really? I was gonna go, because we actually both pissed ourselves laughing at it.
Mm-hmm.
Was actually when Riley punches out Parker.
Oh yeah.
We both all of a sudden almost jump up laughing at that scene.
It was good though. It was.
Yeah.
It's just a funny reflex. Like he was debating whether or not he liked her, and then when he's just full on smacked him in the face.
But it was like an unconscious response. He didn't even realize that he was. Even after he's done it, he's like, "How did that happen? Why did that happen?" He just up and punches him it was as you said, it's like a reflex thing.
Yeah, just did it. Smack. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Chief.
Favorite scene.
I do like the. I suppose there is a few good scenes in there, but we haven't mentioned it. The initiative intro scene.
Oh yeah.
So I did like the intricate, almost get smart sort of scene where they're going through all the different elevators and do all these weird sensors and scanning things, and while they're just sort of talking throughout it all.
Yeah.
Very similar to that scene in Cabin in the Woods when they sort of go into the facility, isn't it? Where they're sort of yapping away as they go into this high security sort of place that you don't know where they're going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sort of plays on that similar. It's like poetry; it rhymes.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the interactions with Spike and Willow. I think it's that scene where she's kind of getting a bit sad and he's just sitting there going, "I'd bite you in a second," and starts talking about her in her little pink fuzzy number. And he knew exactly what he was talking about.
Oh, God. Creepy.
Yeah. Least favourite scene.
I didn't like Willow giving Riley advice. I found that a little...
She likes cheese.
But even she continued it on in the party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't like when Riley tries to talk to Buffy at the party
Okay.
and then reverts to the cheese. Cheese? Yeah. I don't know, is that awkward? It's just an awkward scene.
Yeah, it was.
It's never fun to watch. Favourite quote?
My quote was between Spike. Did you have this one?
I might have this one as well.
You might. Is this your favourite quote?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. All right, I'll just read it out. And I don't understand. This sort of thing never happened to me before.
Maybe you were nervous.
I felt all right when I started. Let's try again. Ow, ow, damn it.
Maybe you're trying too hard. Doesn't this happen to every vampire?
Not to me, it doesn't.
It's me, isn't it?
What are you talking about?
Well, you came looking for Buffy and you settled for... You didn't want to bite me. I just happened to be around.
Piffle.
I know I'm not the kind of girl vamps like to sink their teeth into. It's always, ooh, you're like a sister to me. Ooh, you're such a good friend.
Don't be ridiculous. I'd bite you in a heartbeat.
Really?
Thought about it.
When?
Remember last year when you had that fuzzy pink number with the lilac underneath?
Lilac.
Lilac underneath.
I would have never guessed. You played the bloodlust. Kind of cool.
I hate being obvious. All fanging and takes the mystery out.
But if you could?
If I could, yeah.
You know, this doesn't make you any less terrifying.
Don't patronise me. That wasn't your favourite quote, was it?
No.
You lie!
Because it was my favourite scene.
Oh, yeah. What was your favourite quote?
My favourite quote was between Riley and Willow.
I don't have that one.
What?
I don't have that. Is it long?
No. It's Riley going, I can't believe it. I choked. And Willow's like, you really, really did. And then Riley says, you don't understand. I'm good at things. That's what I do. Work hard, apply myself, get it done. And Willow's like, well, you failed extremely well.
You lack discipline.
All right.
Very nice.
Who gets the wooden spoon?
I gave it to Harmony.
Oh, poor Harmony.
Yeah, I showed out a couple of scenes in it, so...
Well, you did have that great scene where Spike is like using all these little pet names for her, and he starts out with like love and baby and honey, and then he
trying to make up one.
Then he starts calling her creme brulee, child like milk latte or something. foamy latte, I think was another one, and then he ends with menthol cigarettes. Yeah, poor Harmony. I kind of went with Willow in this one for the wooden spoon.
Okay, yeah.
Just because she does kind of get a little bit shit on in this. But yeah, she's a bit mopey as well.
Very mopey. Body rock, y'all.
Yeah. She doesn't have her manic energy.
Struggles a bit.
Yeah. Who's the MVP of the episode?
I gave it to Buffy.
Yeah, I also gave it to Buffy.
Buffy deserves it.
Kind of saves the day in the end, as she normally does.
Yeah.
And what do you rate this episode out of 10?
I gave it 6 packets of drugged human blood.
Drugged blood. Well, I've got a better term that you could have used.
Oh, what's that?
Because I went 7 out of 10 spiked blood bags.
Oh, really
yes.
good. Nice
See
one.
the little wordplay there.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you missed your opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, I am the Mr. Punner. So yeah.
You missed a perfectly good pun.
Yeah.
Guess you're not very punny.
I'm not very punny.
Not very punny. All right. Anything else you need to add or wanted to add?
Want to add? No. Can vampires use Viagra?
to get their bite on?
To get their bite on.
Maybe some sort of steroid to make them a little more angry.
Yeah. Do drugs work on them?
I think
alcohol?
I think it does come into it if a human's been drinking or taking drugs.
Oh, it can affect them? Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it done before in other
they go
shows.
into it a bit more in Angel because there's like these drug den type things where humans inject themselves with a certain type of drug that when vampires take it, like drink the blood, they start tripping balls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very creative. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm done. So, I hope you have enjoyed listening us today. We are Nerd Subculture. My name is Jared.
And I'm Edwina.
And you can find us on...
You can find us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. There is a Facebook group, and you can email us at nerdsubculture@gmail.com.
Yeah, shout us a comment, shout us a like. Anything will do. I might even read it out for you if you do. We may not. Yeah, I think we will.
No, we're not. We don't read stuff out. I always hate that in podcasts.
So, till next time, take care. We'll see ya. Bye.
Grr, arg.